Hello. Happy Tuesday. I can't hear you. No.
Hear me?
Now
How
I
about
can
now?
hear
Can you
you.
hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
Hi, happy Tuesday, everyone.
I'm so glad I'm a good lip sync reader. Like I was like, I get what you're saying, but I don't. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh my goodness. Well, listen, to everybody watching, I'm so sorry that yesterday we had to have a brief reschedule moment. It wasn't ideal. I'm a little bit under the weather, so bear with me if you hear me cough a little bit. I'm so sorry. Good thing is I'm not contagious through the camera. Ah! So,
Yay!
but yeah,
No,
so
you're a champ. You're pushing it through today, and I
whew,
appreciate it
yeah,
because I know you've
well,
been super sick.
I've been sleeping for like 3 days. So everyone's like, when they tell you rest, rest, rest. I'm like, how much is the limit? Because like I'm not a big sleeper. Whoo, yeah, zombie mode. So,
Like I'm done with this.
but let's have some fun today. So we'll push through.
Woo!
So
Super
before,
excited.
yeah, and before we start anything else, we do want to obviously start off by kicking off something new because it's June, which means it's officially Pride Month. And we wanted to do something new, which is why we're both wearing red. You might know that red is the first color in the Pride rainbow. And we wanted to do something new, which we're calling Drinking Our Way Through the Rainbow. And so if you got our memo on our Instagram, please keep up with us on Instagram at peoplelikeuss.365. And we have our drink ready to go to celebrate our red, red, red.
Yes, we do. So we're going to be drinking our way, wearing our way through the rainbow colors to show support and love. And can we talk about this straw really quick?
I was literally like, is that a straw?
This is a straw, and it's a straw that I got in Hawaii. And because this cup is little, my other straws are super tall. So this was the only one, and I'm like,
it is also super tall, and I think it's amazing. I literally you didn't have to bring it up. I was like, is that a straw?
it's a straw.
It's kind of amazing. So cheers to Pride. Cheers to
Cheers.
us.
Cheers to health, to pride, to love, to happiness, to happy people, to people like us.
That's right.
The recipe, I believe, is in our previous. Oh, never mind. It's right here because we're so good like that. Anyways, yes. So, so good. This is so refreshing.
It is. It actually was something that I'd never drank before until we had it on our show recently. And now it's become a staple in my home as a drink that I not only love, but I offer to other people. I'm like, would you like a Dirty Shirley? And I feel so like a bartender because I never knew any drinks like that. I was always like, vodka cranberry or like... So I did feel really good about learning that. But yeah, so our makeup show for yesterday will be this coming Thursday at 8 p.m. So join us and we'll post our drink of choice, which will be orange, and we'll be wearing orange. So have fun with us, do the drinks with us. And
wear the color with us if you can. Just any way, shape, or form you guys want to join us and do what we're doing. We're going to make sure you guys always have the information because this is all about community. It's all about fun. It's all about love. And that's what we are bringing to you.
Yeah, and something fun that we can do is if you guys do send us any pictures of you like dressed up in the colors or whatnot, we can share it on our Instagram and we'll tag you. So send them in. And I'll be sure to post on the video. I'll post on the info, the Instagram link, so you can just go there if you haven't already followed us there and everywhere. All right, so let's get right into our show, right? We'll do here. So let's catch each other up on what we've been up to. So I feel like I'm lost for what day it is anymore, but last week I went to a concert. I went to a Maverick City and Kirk Franklin concert. It's a Christian worship group. Kirk Franklin is like iconic, legendary. If you know any kind of Christian music, you know that is his thing. I gotta tell you, it was so incredible because when you look around a room like that, thousands of people, every age, every background, every culture, all just like in a place of love. And that's my jam. That's my vibe. I love it so much. And I can't help but in the back of my mind think, you know, when someone like Kirk Franklin is talking, you're going to have a lot of older generations of worshipers come out. And I couldn't believe, I was completely shocked. He like at the very start of his session, he said something, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said something that lends itself to this. I think God is tired of us judging and deciding who is better than who. He is the one shining star. The star is him, not us. So we need to let people be and let them live. And I think we need to remember that we're all the same. And he said that, and then the stage, it lit up in the pride colors. And I was just so moved by that, because that's not the normal conversation at a Christian worship concert, you know? I thought it was very special, and I thought it was very, like, just amazing. And I couldn't help but really want to know more about, like, where did this come from for him? And so I went researching, and I saw that he had said this in a magazine. He had said, you know, I want to apologize of all the hurtful and painful things that have been said about people in the church that have been talented and gifted and musical, that we've used and we've embarrassed. All the horrible crap we've done. We've not treated them like people. We're talking about human beings, men and women that God's created. He went on to say, it's horrible that we have made the Bible a homophobic manual. That's not what the Bible is. I mean, you want to talk about things that God gets at? Pride, jealousy, envy, and arrogance. But what we also see is God sending his son to save us, because we're all straight, gay, or whatever, lost and in need of a savior. And there's room at the cross for all of us. So not to get too preachy, but like, whoo, I did not expect that. And I loved it so much. I did go on to find out that his son and him don't have a great relationship. But aside from that, his son is bisexual. And I can't help but wonder if this had something to do with him understanding how wrong he was in the past for saying things otherwise, because it's now in his family. But yeah, so I was really moved by that.
That is something to be moved by. And I think it's amazing. And it's just a bottom line and a reminder. I know how much you've struggled with loving God and feeling like you're disappointing him in any way, shape, or form, or feeling like you're living a life that he wouldn't want you to live. And I feel like it's such a reminder to everyone that God made you. And that's just the way that that's my belief, my personal belief. And he knew who you were and what you were before you even knew. So everyone's relationship with God is individual. And I love that people that are so big in the Christian community and have such a strong platform and such huge followers is able to have that mentality, to give that message, and to just, God is love. God is love.
And to be courageous, because it takes courage to be from that generation as a Black man of a worship center to say those things, whether he believes them in his personal life or not. It takes courage. So I really, 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 really did appreciate it. And other things going on right now. So the first weekend in June in Orlando is considered Gay Days, and it's the start of Pride Month. And it's been tradition that you go to Magic Kingdom and everyone wears red. And so it's funny because I didn't even realize it was going on, because I'm old now. And when I was young, it was like the thing I planned for. And I was like, it's this weekend. Oops, missed it. But I did want to share that something that I saw again that I was really happy about is that Disney is making a very honest approach at making sure that they show that they're happy and welcoming and inviting and accepting to all of their patrons, guests, and staff, which is so important. So this sign is up at Disney Springs. This is some friends of mine that were at Animal Kingdom.
It's funny because when I saw the picture, I was like, do you know those people, or are they just random guys that are in this picture?
Yes, I know, and I told everyone that I was sharing the picture that I would share it. So, and then this is another friend of mine. This is at Magic Kingdom, And at Magic Kingdom, this is painted on the famous purple wall. This is a wall that a lot of people go to take selfies. And now it's the flag, and not only the rainbow flag, but it's also added on the right there. You see transgender color flag. And on the left side, you see the brown and black, which is for people of color. So, I mean, I just think they went from one extreme to the other. I mean, they went from we're not going to say nothing to we're against it to like we're really, really, really going to be for it. This picture was posted on their Disney Parks page on Instagram. So, you know, I think it's just a sign of the changing times, and I'm really happy to see it. I'm really happy to see it because Disney is a place that I love, and the last thing I would want is to feel like something that I love and outwardly support so much is anti who I am and who so many of its employees are. Because most men who do pirouettes well are probably gay. That's probably not true, but it kind of is.
Maybe. Let's not generalize, but listen, at the end of the day, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, whether people agree with it or not, we all have our differences of opinions. We all have, you know, our ways of viewing things. There's a very big movement going on. And if people can't see that, whether you agree or not, I mean, you need to wake up because there's such noise going on and movements and just ruckuses and awakening periods. I mean, there's so much going on around this that I don't think you'd have to live under a rock to not realize the movement and the changes that are happening.
Completely. And there's a really great show on HBO Max, if you guys haven't seen it, called We Are Here. It's with three of my favorite drag queens, Eureka O'Hara, Bob the Drag Queen, and Shangela. And they go to a lot of places in the United States that are these small little towns where they don't have a lot of representation. And the whole, I love the title, We Are Here. It's like, we've been here, we're not going anywhere. And so I want to make it very clear, and I'm going to kind of reiterate a little bit of this later, but if you don't know something because you don't have exposure to it, that's not your fault. But to use that non-exposure as the reason why you're hating something, that's just ignorance and a weaponizing of your ignorance. So what you don't know, that's okay. Mistakes happen and people don't know everything, but there absolutely is a movement of we're here, we're not going anywhere, and you don't have to live the lifestyle or agree with things that people do or who they are, but to hate on them, that's no longer okay. And I've never felt any hate is okay, but yeah.
So more to come on that later. So any other slide from the Disney that you have left?
No, it's on you now. What happened on your last couple days?
So my turn. So I want to congratulate Amanda. So our baby girl graduated from her 8th grade. So she is no longer an 8th grader. She was promoted to high school. So we're super, super proud of her. We're super excited for her. She's really happy and excited. And we went out to dinner and kind of celebrated low key. You know, it was a Monday, and not to mention her school did the graduation via Zoom, which we weren't really happy with. So no parents were able to go, no family members or whatever. But we are super excited and very motivated for her. Can we take a second and can you go back to that picture? Patty's phone is like glowing. It looks like a, I didn't notice that yesterday.
Calling Patty in this moment.
And then I'm like, okay, Patty, stealing the thunder with her blue screen.
Well, I mean, congratulations, Amanda, and congratulations you, Vicky. Like you've had 2 big graduations in the last couple weeks, so you're doing good with the
kids. I can't believe that I have a high schooler again. I can't believe that we're here, that she's
it goes so fast.
She's a young lady. It's insane to me when I think of, my kids. I'm like, my kids, they're little kids. And not so much.
How long ago did Amanda come into our lives? How many years? 10? I don't know.
No, longer than that.
More?
She was 2.5.
She was 2.5. It's like, it blows my mind because I'm like, Amanda is so grown. Like, I'm like, what is happening? So
yeah, it's insane. I remember I posted this on Instagram. I'm like, I remember singing her little pre-K songs when she started, and she would do the Pledge of Allegiance, and it was so funny because she would say, she would say, "I'm the God" instead of "under God." And we would tell her, we would say, "No, mommy, it's, under God." And she's like, "No, it's I'm the God." And she was very. So it's so funny because here's this baby girl that's all grown up and going into high school, but we're super proud. We love you, Gorda, and all wonderful things. Is going to be a great experience for her and us. And I'm going to need a lot more of these to get through the next 4 years.
That straw is amazing.
Isn't it great? I'm going to be done in like 2 seconds.
It's like a hose.
It's like a hose. Look how thick it is.
So moving right along, if you also have not seen, because again, follow us on our Instagram and you'll get these memos so you can join in on the fun. But we are celebrating something else today. It is National Chocolate Ice Cream Day. And I love that for me right now because ice cream is what my throat needs today. So I'm really happy about this.
Yeah, because we didn't have enough with just the drinks. Now we want to add something else to it.
Yeah.
We need like a cooking show or something.
We're going to go into a coma.
So National Chocolate Ice Cream Day, guys. So if you have your chocolate ice creams, bring them out and let's have a taste and let's give some information.
Are you putting yours in a bowl or yours is just in a cup?
No, it's in a cup. It's in a Yeti cup because I don't want it to melt.
She told me to put it in a cup. I didn't know if I had to put it in the bowl, so I brought a bowl just in case. I try to be prepared. So cheers to chocolate ice cream. Mine's chocolate
ice cream. It's so good.
It's the best part of my day.
Well, so when I went to go get the ice cream, they didn't have regular chocolate ice cream. Apparently everybody knows and is celebrating this, and we didn't know about it. So it's chocolate brownie. It's like the mother load of chocolate.
Mine has brownies in it too. Did you guys see what happened when I started eating the ice cream? I started doing like this. Pookie used to always joke at me because she's like, "That's your happy dance when you eat." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You do it all the time." And it's just like
every time he's eating, he's just like in his own world. And it's so funny because I'm like, who does that?
If you don't get that happy when you're eating ice cream, you don't deserve to eat the ice cream.
So let's give some information.
Yes, I will let you read that information. Yes.
Okay. So I thought this was really cool. I'm a little bit of like a history nerd. I like to find out the origin of things. So it was created in Naples, Italy in 1693.
I knew I was meant to be in Italy.
Can you imagine 1693? That's a long time.
That's like a long time ago.
That's a long ass time. This right here is ancient. We're eating ancient shit. This is history in a cup. Oh my God, I can't stop. I was just going to do it.
I was like, and on today's show, you guys would just watch us eat our ice cream.
Thank God I only put like 1 scoop in here because I'd be like, all right, guys, it was nice talking to you.
I'm going to eat the rest of the pint right after, though.
Oh my God. So, yeah, it's super old. It's super delicious. Most people love chocolate. And actually, people think that vanilla was created before chocolate because you're like, oh, yeah, it's vanilla. And then they added coloring. No, it's not. It's the opposite. So
if you're watching, do you prefer chocolate or vanilla? If you're watching, put it in the comments. Chocolate or vanilla? I think vanilla is more popular.
I don't know. Anyways, so fun fact, guys. There you go. Thanks for sharing National Chocolate Ice Cream Day with us.
I love the
comments.
I'm
going to wash it down with some of the
happy dance. And then I love this. That's the attitude leaving your body. Exactly. Okay, we have one vote.
Right, we have chocolate. Chocolate
we have
lovers.
1 vote for chocolate. We have another vote for chocolate. Another vote for chocolate. Another vote for chocolate. Okay.
That's what's up. Chocolate is what's up. So I hope you guys are all enjoying it. Joey, if you're home, there's more ice cream in the fridge for you. Huh?
Do you prefer chocolate?
I do prefer chocolate.
You do? Okay.
Shocker. Mm-hmm. And if I get vanilla, I add chocolate syrup or like caramel or something anyway. So yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'll add stuff to vanilla. Like I'll put everything, brownies, cookies, Oreos, but I don't know. I like it vanilla based more, but okay. Well, that was exciting.
All right. Yes. Let me clear my throat. Okay,
Woo! All right, so moving on to something totally different. I wanted to share something. I was like, this is so funny because we said Pride Month, and I was like, let me share stuff about fashion because that's what makes sense, right? But so there's a new thing that just happened, which is Fendi and Versace have done a collaboration. And I got really excited about this because I love the imagery of it. And what's really cool is that it is being called a historic fashion moment because it is an exchange of roles rather than a collaboration. So collaboration means you and me came up with it together. This is different because the designers of Fendi designed the Versace line and Donatella Versace designed the Fendi line, and they turned two brand new collections, which is basically Fendi by Versace or Versace by Fendi, and they're calling it Fendace. When you refer
I love the name.
Oh, it's so good. And of course,
So
Naomi
good.
Campbell is sitting there on the right. You guys know how much I love Naomi Campbell. Love her, love the imagery, love all the different cultures, love all the different body sizes. I was here for
her, Mama. You better work.
Absolutely, I was here for it. And I love fashion. I don't know. I'm not on expert level like some people, but I enjoy creativity. And so whatever that comes through as, I really enjoy it. So when I heard about this line, and there was another brand that did the same thing, but I didn't include the photo, but it was Persol mixed with Dolce & Gabbana for their eyewear line. And if I can find those glasses, I might have them on my face eventually because they are amazing. So,
and you're fabulous. So yes, it makes sense. I loved it. And I love the name. The name is so amazing.
Yeah, there's this little video. There's this little video on YouTube where everyone's going to a nightclub and Naomi Campbell's at the door and she's like the lady that has the password and she's like, "What's the password?" They're like, "Fendace, of course." I was like, I love the whole thing. It's so cool.
You're like somebody.
I love. So, story about something. Pookie used to laugh at me all the time because I used to walk up to VIPs in clubs and be like, "Oh, I'm VIP." And I would just walk in and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm in VIP." She's like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "But we are." And then I would walk in and then I did. And then weeks at a time, they knew who I was. So they just would let me in because I'm VIP.
He was so annoying. I was like, "You're going to get us punched in the face one day."
That was not the reason.
I would like let him go first. I'm like, if he can get in, then I'm going to go in with him. But I'm not going to get yelled at.
Don't say nothing. Yeah. So I don't know about you guys watching, but we love to go to brunch. But sometimes brunch can get pretty expensive. Because especially if you're going to like a drag brunch now, sometimes they range anywhere from like $50 to $70 a brunch, right?
Yeah.
And there's an option for people who want to have brunch and mimosas, but maybe they don't want to spend as much. And so IHOP.
Yes, I was super excited to hear this because, so let's backtrack just a little bit. So I sent him the information. I'm like, "Pookie, look, IHOP now has mimosas. How cool." And he's like,
My immediate reaction was like, why do we care what IHOP is doing?
Yeah, he's like, who cares? And I'm like, what do you mean, who cares? This is a staple restaurant for families and for, just everyone goes. They go for breakfast. They go after church. They go for dinner and they have breakfast. Like, I think it's so amazing that you can now go to IHOP and get your breakfast or your brunch and also order yourself a mimosa and not miss out on your brunch. And you don't have to spend $100 to enjoy a brunch. So
yeah, when you gave me that perspective, when you gave me the perspective, because of course, as a mom and a different mindset, I was
as a human being.
Sure, I was just like, why is IHOP something we want to talk about? But I love it. It's absolutely true because you know what? Like everybody enjoys their mimosas.
And then he tried to steal my story on camera. Sir, I will have you know.
Oh, look. Jackie said, is there a DJ? Is IHOP
Maybe that's next. There you go. Maybe that's next. You girls call me and I am there. Oh my God, that was funny. So yeah, I loved it. I thought it was super cool. Overdue and affordable. So yes,
really, really good.
Yes.
So another thing that Pookie brought to my attention, I'm going to play a video and then you could talk a little bit about it because you're the one that showed me this too. So well, you know what? There's a lot going on over here. Okay,
I'm like, what are you here for today? You're like, I got this whole show today.
You know what?
It's Pride Month.
I'm turning your camera off. All right, y'all, watch this.
3-year-old Marissa, who had no idea what was going on when she received these same TikTok messages from multiple people. It all began from a viral TikTok video. The user overheard a group of people talking about how they prepared a party for a weekend when Marissa was out of town so she wouldn't show up. Since then, she's been organizing friend meetups all across the country called No More Lonely Friends.
For crappy friends. So when I found out my friends were going out of their way to exclude me, I decided, let's go! To make new friends and travel the country and now the world, organizing No More Lonely Friends meetups so that other people would have a space that they can make new friends too.
Have you made any new friends today?
I definitely did. Here she go right here.
And I love him already. I love his smile. You see that smile?
This actually brings you out and helps you to make new friends.
So whenever I meet someone who wants to change their social situation, I always remind them.
Love it.
I loved it. So there's a few reasons why I really loved this. So number one, she turned a negative situation. It just so happened. Can you imagine a random person that no one knows overhears a group of your friends and he's all gossipy and he gets on TikTok and he's like, hey, if anybody knows this girl, you need new friends. And it actually got to her. It's awful. So she turned her pain and it was,
I would have been so pissed.
She was heartbroken. Like her friends were planning things on purpose when she wasn't available, and then they were gossiping about it. That's so hurtful. Like people are so mean. And then she just turned that pain into something that was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna go out of my way to make sure that no one feels like they don't have anybody to talk to. And what resonated with me is that this is something that you've wanted to do yourself for such a long time, even before TikTok days, even before you would always talk about that and you would post things on your Facebook like, hey, I'm going to be here. Who wants to join me? Because you've always believed in that sense of community and connection. And she has been so successful. So she's traveling around all these different big cities that are requesting her, and they do these huge meetups and huge picnics, and people just go with their blankets and they just meet random people and they spend the day having a wonderful time. And we need more positivity and more love in this world. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, we have to talk about this.
Yeah. And it's harder than it sounds because I actually planned events before, both at Disney, at the beach in Miami, at brunch places. And it was really hard to get people to feel comfortable, really hard to get them to feel comfortable to do it. I think a lot more people wanted to than maybe would be open to showing up because it's not a normal scenario. But yeah, I've always loved the idea and thought it made sense because I've always said people need people. And it's so crazy how many people live around us and we know none of them, especially if you're living in a city like me. I'm in Orlando in my apartment building. I mean, there's a couple thousand people right around the corner from me and I don't know any of them. And so it's really cool when you start to network and meet people because, again, people need people. So I love what she's doing. Good for her for turning something so crappy into something so powerful.
It literally broke I almost cried. I was like, how awful that had to have felt. Sorry. That feels awful. And then another thing I was going to say, I feel like there's a divide where it's like, there's 50% of the population that absolutely love connection and love people. And then there's 50% of the population that want nothing to do with anyone. And they just want their electronics all day. And what happens is that the people like us, no pun intended, that, want connection and love people and think that and truly believe that there's still really good people out in the world. We have to try to find each other.
Yeah. Look at this comment. It's great.
Yeah.
And we need more group meetups like this. It's so hard to go out in the world and find new friends. So people trying to find people. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's exactly why it's hard because people don't even if you go out to like a bar or a club, it feels like there's pods and there's people in their little groups or who they came with. So you don't feel open and it's not inviting. And so because of the phone situation, that also blocks it as well because people do go to their phone as a default, as a crutch when they're not comfortable. So I don't know how to break it. I've never really fully got it. But what I will say is there's like 5 people commenting in the chat that all live in the same bubble, you know, that say, oh, this is great. Oh, people need this. You guys go do it. And that's the whole point. I would love to find people in Orlando who think this is a great idea and say, let's go do it, because I'm serious about this stuff. I don't say it like that's a fun topic. I really do think people need to take the initiative and say, you know what, you're right. There is something like this. So let's go do it. And somebody will be grateful that you did.
Well, obviously, I think awareness is a first step, you know, and people like her doing these things and creating awareness. The benches that we talked about a few weeks ago, where it's like the chat benches, that you can, you know, you sit down and you can just talk to someone if you're lonely or you feel like having a conversation. So I think the more aware that we become about on this subject, I think there will be more, you know, outlets for us to go and do meetups and create groups and stuff like that. So I think it's going on the right path, definitely, because this wasn't happening a couple years ago.
Yeah, it's just everything is cyclical, and what's gone is now coming back, and that's the way it works. We lost our sense of community, we lost our sense of connection, and people used to have that, and now people are wanting it again. And this is where we're headed back, and it might be the best season of our lives, because we've always felt that way, and we just were in a different time. So I'm excited to see what happens with more people doing stuff like this.
I agree. Very good, very nice story. I loved it.
Thanks for sharing it with me. Thanks for sharing it.
Anytime. That's what I'm here for. Let's brighten up your world.
I wish I could really do accents. So on today's Whatcha Watchin'.
Whatcha watching? That's a perfect one to try an accent on.
Whatcha watching?
Whatcha watching?
Yeah, I'm not do it. But I have a video clip to show you guys. But before I show the clip, I have to show you these pictures, because I mean they're worthy of us showing these pictures. Holy crap, J-Lo! Like,
cheers to J-Lo.
Jesus Christ, J-Lo diet coming up next. Like, Jesus Christ, J-Lo. So J-Lo was just celebrated on the MTV Movie and TV Awards for winning the Generation Award, and she gave a really, really beautiful and emotional raw speech. And I just wanted to show you guys a favorite part of that speech for us.
Children, for teaching me to love. I want to thank all the people who told me to my face, or when I wasn't in the room, that I couldn't do this. I really don't think I could have done it without you. And I know I couldn't have done it without the fans who saw the movies.
They were cheering for us. They were cheering for Oh my God, I thought that was great. I thought it was great. I know you saw the whole speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think? I thought it was just one of her best speeches ever.
I love her vulnerability. I think that's what makes her. So we can sit here and we can talk about, you know, she can't sing and she's not a great vocalist, and you know, people that, you know, she's overrated and she's like she's everywhere, like they're so annoyed with her, whatever you want to say. And all I can tell you is that there is a reason why this woman is on top and has stayed on top for so many years.
Yeah.
So aside from the fact that she is literally, I swear to God, like she sleeps in an ice chamber or something. She does something. She looks.
My boss says that she drinks the devil's juice and has sold her soul to the devil. And I'm like, oh.
I wouldn't doubt it. I'd be like, you know what? Maybe there's something to that. But the fact that she is, her dedication, the way that she gives herself to her fans and to her art, she is an amazing, amazing performer. She is a great actress.
Yeah, we both went to her last tour.
She has so many star qualities aside from the hustle and the perseverance, and she is the full package. She really is. Whether you love her or not, that is a reality. And I love how she connects with her fans, and I love how she connects with audiences, and she's vulnerable and she shows her feelings, and when she doesn't feel good, she says it. And she has interviews and she's like, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I've been engaged 100 times. Yeah, my love life has been splattered all over the news. I never said I was perfect. I love love and I want to feel that love. And you know, that takes courage to be so honest in a world that's so like cutthroat, and just anything that you do is criticized. And so we love her. I know that I've loved her.
When they showed like a video montage before she came out, and they showed the 100 movies that she's done, and I'm like, every single one, I was like, I love it. Oh, I love that. Oh, I want to rewatch that one. Like, I've watched everything she's ever done, and I just loved it. I love that mindset of thank you for the people who talk crap about me to my face or not, because I wouldn't have made it without y'all. Like, yes, ma'am.
But
like,
it's an important message that every person you encounter in your life is there for a reason. And it's up to you to decide what that reason is. So aside from the whole like, yes, bitch, you know, that the reality is that you can either use it to fuel yourself to become that much better for your own benefit, or you can let it get to you and you don't move. It paralyzes you.
Yeah, completely. And in a couple weeks, she does have a documentary coming out on Netflix. So we will definitely be watching and talking about that. And there's one other thing in our What You Watching clip that we wanted to share with you guys. I got another clip ready for ya.
We're putting it together now. The truth is, you know, growing up as a little farm kid in a farm town, I never thought I'd get to have a wedding. You know, I never saw gay people grown up marrying because it wasn't allowed. And Wellington, my fiance, is an immigrant from Dominican Republic. He didn't imagine this future for us. And so now the fact that we do get to get married is so beautiful. And can I brag for just a little second?
Yeah.
No one's seen this yet, but this is the latest issue of Sophisticated Weddings magazine. And Wellington and I are the very first same-sex couple ever featured in the magazine. I think about, you know, just kids around anywhere now can look at this and know that they are equal and they are worthy and they can be fabulous too.
And I now want 7 different colored cakes at my wedding because
that got me so emotional.
Yeah, it was awesome. I'm so glad you
just
sent that to me.
Audience's response, you know, they were just cheering the whole entire time, and just, you know, having someone that has gone through so much just to live their life and now be celebrated for it and normalized in a way where it's like, it's insane to me. You know, I loved everything about it. And it was like, I literally got emotional. I was like, oh, you know, like, why not? Like they deserve to be happy. They deserve to, you know, live their life and to have, you know, all the colorful cakes they want. You know,
I never knew that I wanted a cake in every color of the rainbow, but now let it be known.
We're gonna make it happen. Can we just do like one really big one with every color in it?
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I loved it too. And I love that, you know, Ross has been in the entertainment industry a long time. Since I was a kid, he started on the Jay Leno show as a little side intern. And now he's been a staple on RuPaul's Drag Race. And now he's on the Drew Barrymore show a lot. He's done his own things. He's now hosting brunches all over the nation.
Maybe he'll come to IHOP.
I don't think he's doing IHOP brunches.
I love him though. I think he's
trust me, I already signed up for the newsletter to find out, because if he comes anywhere in Florida, we're going. Like, we're absolutely.
Going. I do. I love him. Yeah. I think he's like a friend in my head. Like, he's one of those people, like, he'll just talk, and I think he's so funny, like genuinely.
So I actually met him once at Palace in South Beach, and he was just as funny in person, just as sweet, like very, very nice guy.
I love him.
Yeah. But congratulations, Ross, and thank you for being bold enough to share your story. Because you know what? Like, not only is it amazing and emotional and celebratory, but if people don't share their stories like that, other people don't know these changes are happening. And we really have to realize, as much as we can look at all those bad things happening, things like this are also happening. And we can sit there and say, yes, like there are wins. And we just have to kind of change our glasses and look for the wins more than we look for the losses, because the losses are so much louder. But the wins are still happening.
That's what's so amazing about what we are doing on this show. This is one of the biggest reasons why we've always wanted to do this, is because we want to be that light. We want to be that laughter, that joy, that excitement, that positivity, because the world is heavy as shit. And everywhere you turn, you will find heaviness. So again, we have to stick together and find these lights and find these wonderful, positive things to talk about, because they are worthy of getting, you know, talked about and shown and exposed and celebrated.
And so we're gonna go ahead and move on to my gal real quick. With that being said, I didn't know I said that a lot, and my boss told me the other day I say it all the time. I'm like, okay, I don't know where that came from, but with that being said, so Kelly Clarkson, quick video clip for y'all.
Video to tell LGBTQ youth that I support them and believe in them. I want my kids to grow up in a world where everyone is accepted for who they are, and that includes those who are LGBTQ. While my story might be different than yours, I know what it's like to feel alone, but trust me, there is so much more potential for you to achieve your dreams and find people just like you. It does get better.
People just like you, get it? People like us. We gotta stick together.
Yes, we do.
I don't know the rest of the words. I'm the worst fan on earth. I can't. Even if it's on, I'll probably say the wrong words. I'm the worst. But anyways, that video is not new. It's a couple years old, but I love it, and it's important, and it's relevant to today's show. So, of course, I wanted to share it. I do also, of course, want to give a quick shout out to Miss Kelly Clarkson, that she has over 1 million streams on Spotify for her new single, Happier Than Ever, which is from her new EP that's releasing this coming week. So it's an amazing cover of a Billie Eilish song. And also, she has won an award for Best Host of her talk show at the MTV Movie and TV Awards. And, you know, sometimes I look at categories and I'm like, who was she competing against? Or like, you know, I want to know who listen, she beat out RuPaul. So, hey, Kelly Clarkson. I was very happy. So,
well, we love her.
Really cool to see that going on. And what's up next? We have some celebrity info going on, of course.
I feel like all of our shows about celebrity stuff, so
we just love them. And you know what? But we make the conversations about other things, so that's okay. We're gonna just briefly show this beautiful creation and tell everybody that Shawn Mendes was back on stage this weekend, and he has not performed in a couple years, which made me super excited because he's going back on tour. But he did perform at the Wango Tango event, and he was wearing orange because he was encouraging people to go ahead and reach out to their senators. And you can
go back to the other one.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're like, he was encouraging and reaching out, and it's so funny because that picture, I feel encouraged and I feel like he's reaching out.
He is encouraging me to go to the gym. Awesome. Did you hear me?
Yes, I did.
He's like, you can do it, Juan. As soon as I can breathe again, I promise I'm going to go to the gym. So if you're interested in this, text BOLD to 64433 to tell your senators to take action on gun safety now. So that is why he was wearing orange.
That's a very important message. Yeah.
It's a very important message. And again, we're trying to not get deeply into the heavy because you got a lot of other channels on TV that you can watch for the heavy. But I wanted to share the info because you know what? If it matters to you, then you have it and you may do with it what you will. And then, of course, if you have been living under a rock, you may not have heard about this, but the Johnny Depp trial's over. Finally.
I feel like it was going on forever.
Amber Heard. We say Amber Heard at work all the time.
Over the first picture already?
Mm-hmm.
You're so fast with your fingers. I feel like you should be playing an instrument or something.
I've done that before.
So, so, I mean, so this is them happy. They don't look happy, but you know, they're supposedly happy.
This is them happy. And then this is them in court.
Listen, I love Johnny Depp. I've always been a Johnny Depp fan. I think he is one of the best actors that are like in our generation and probably many to come. So yeah, this trial was insane. Good. Okay, yeah, you went to the trial now.
Just keep it going.
Guys, this is why I don't drink before the show.
Mine doesn't have liquor today because I'm sick. That's why I'm so focused.
It's okay. We're good. So yeah, what do you think? What do you have to say about the trial or, you know, the outcome of it?
So here's my big takeaway. I'm not an expert. I did not watch 75 hours of this thing. It went on for so long. Here's all I want to say. I took this very seriously because the moment that the allegations came up, Disney started removing him from, from the Pirates movies, and he lost the Harry Potter movie and all these things. And what I will tell you is this, the fact that there's a reactive culture, and before we have a guilty or not guilty sentence, people are reacting, and there's repercussions to that, including your reputation, as well as millions of dollars of contracts. That's ridiculous. Number one. Number two, as a woman, even more so as a woman, women are fighting to be heard when they're going to trial about being abused by a man. And you want to be believed and you want to be heard. And we have the women's right movement and we have the Me Too movement. And the whole point of that movement is listen to us. And then you have this woman who went on to have a court case and apparently didn't have the valid stuff to back it up. It's harmful to the cause moving forward. So if you are not honest with what you're coming forward with and your goal is to just hurt somebody or get money or whatever the case was, it's shame on you, Amber Heard, because at the end of the day, you're hurting the women's right movement and the Me Too movement. And Johnny Depp is one of my favorite actors of all time. Alice in Wonderland is my favorite movie of all time in Disney. And so he did the Mad Hatter as one of my favorites. But even more than that, I mean, I can list all of the movies. Most every movie he's ever done, I loved. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a little weird. But other than that, I love the guy. And so listen, I'm really glad that I get to keep loving him, because it's hard when you love somebody as an actor or singer or entertainer, and then things come out about them and you're like, oh, I don't want to like them anymore.
Yeah.
Like the Michael Jackson syndrome. Like, I love Michael Jackson, grew up with him, but now I hear it and I'm like, oh, I watched that.
Yeah, you almost feel guilty for jamming out to something because you're like, but was it true? Like, I don't want to support something or someone that did awful things. So here's my take on that, and I'll keep it super short for time's sake. So I feel like there's truth in everything that is said. What did Sammy say? I don't know what that woman tried to lie. Oh my God. I feel like there's truth to everything that, is said in a way. Like, do I believe that they had those kind of arguments? Yeah.
Sure.
Do I believe that she smacked him around and he was like, trying to walk away because he's passive and she was pissed off because she wanted a reaction? Yes. Do I feel like he knows how to trigger her? And absolutely, because it's a relationship and that's what happens. Now, I do believe that it was irresponsible to take it to that extreme, because obviously it's much more than just an argument. Now you're actually trying to burn someone's career, and obviously the truth will always come out. So the fact that she was lying about things and whatnot, but yeah, it was long. It was like stressful for a lot of people. In the end, we were like, yay.
Yeah, I don't know how long the OJ trial was, but this felt like that. I was like, are we still talking about this? I feel like this went on forever.
Yes, it did. But now I want to talk about something that's very important. So let's go. Let's get through this. We cannot be here an hour and a half again today.
It is not my fault. You're the one drinking. So we're going to go in. So in today's What's on Your Mind segment, of course, starting out for Pride Month, I really want to start off just by saying one big over umbrella arching statement. This is a safe space. Everybody on this show, me and Pookie, as well as everybody in the comment stream, as of now, okay, we're all LGBT plus friendly, loving, affirming, whether you are LGBT or you're an ally or whatnot. If anything that comes out of our mouth is not exactly accurate, please don't take offense to it or get upset about it. Everything here is said with love. Nothing is meant to be an attack. And there's a lot of things that are changing in our world that are very confusing, and it takes time to learn. And again, that's why I said at the beginning, ignorance because you weren't taught something, that's not your fault. We're trying to work through that here and have this conversation. So one of the big things we wanted to talk about was, what do all these letters mean? Because it used to be, I don't know what it used to be. Was it just, what did it start at? LGBT? Was it just LGBT? It was LGBT, and then it was LGBTQ, and then it's LGBTQIA. Some people say LGBT plus. Some people say LGBTQIAAP.
Other people say LGBT ABCDEFG.
LMNOP. Because let's keep it real. That's a lot. That's a lot going on. And so that's what I really wanted to say about like not offending anyone, because it just, we got to be real. It's a lot. So, we don't need to go one by one on this, but I want you guys to understand this is important, that in today's world, we understand that there is people who are identifying a certain way. And if you love them and you want to respect them, you want to know more about them, it's up to you to ask the questions and find out and get the information. So I know for you, Pookie, like you've had moments where you're like, wait, but what does all this mean? And you'll ask me because you generally want to know more.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Listen, I'm not one to keep up with the times, and there's a lot that goes on. And when I get overwhelmed, I just tend to like go the other way. And my question to you, and what I really want to be able to talk about, is I want to understand, and I want you to explain from the LGBT perspective.
I'm the ambassador of the gays. I am the governor.
Well, you're my ambassador of the gays. So
I'm the mayor of Gayville.
You are who I will be asking these questions to.
Yeah.
I want you to be able to explain and understand why it's so important to you that people try to understand you, or not understand you, just accept you, because you don't have to understand someone to accept and respect them. There's a difference. You and I talk about things all the time, and I'm like, I don't understand, or I don't accept it. I don't really agree with it, but I respect you, and I don't try to convince you otherwise. We just respect each other and let it be.
Yeah, so I will say this. I think that it really depends on the age group and generation you're talking to of how that response would be attacked. I'm in my mid-30s, and my generation, we still like had this formal box of like, did you come out? Like, it was a thing. It was a thing. There was conversations around it. Your friends were like, when are you going to come out? The ones who knew secretly, like coming out was this thing that you had to do. And then when you're going to come out, you have to label yourself, because otherwise you're not really, what are you coming out as, right? So you understood yourself, or were trying to. I don't know that same culture exists anymore. I think when you talk to people who are 18, 19, 20, they don't talk about it. They just are what they are. And they're very okay with that. And I think it's amazing. I think that's what it should be. I think it's amazing that people don't feel like, hey, I want to wave a banner that says, this is what I am and accept me. Just, this is what I am. Because I do believe love is love. And I don't really care who you sleep with. I just care about other people respecting other people. And it's important that whatever that person needs is respected. So everybody's journey is completely different. One of the conversations that I've had a lot lately with different people is the separation between sexuality and gender, because that's a whole nother conversation that we'll probably have later this month. Yeah. But it's a very separate conversation, and the two get mixed, and it gets dirty because they're not supposed to be mixed. So you can understand somebody's sexuality as gay or lesbian or bisexual, but when you start mixing gender conversations into that, and then try to understand it. It's another layer of understanding. And so it just takes having the conversation with the person and wanting to have the mutual respect, and the rest just happens.
Yeah.
You know?
And I will say this, if you are not interested and you don't want to have those conversations because you don't agree, that's okay. But don't bash, don't judge, don't question. Just understand that you're the one that doesn't want to learn, and you're the one that's okay with not knowing. But it doesn't mean that you have to go the other way with that.
So I'll give you a very prime example. I had a conversation with someone recently, and they said, I don't have a problem with gay people. I just don't agree with the trans thing. And I was like, well, it's not a thing, number one. And when you say you don't agree with it, what is it you don't agree with it? No, like, I don't understand it. And I'm like, well, that's a very different statement. I'm like, because if you don't agree with something, it means you're against it. Not understanding it, that's okay. Would you like to understand it? Well, I mean, I guess I could. So have you ever had a conversation with a trans man or female? No. Well, that's your step one. Because if you've never talked to a woman about the issue she's been through, you don't understand women's struggle. If you've never talked to a person who is trans, you don't understand their struggle and their situation. So you want to know step one to trying to understand something you don't understand? Talk to the person that belongs to that. So yeah. I'm going to leave that there because this can turn into a really long conversation.
We're going to put a pin on it and we'll circle back to it. Definitely.
But I definitely would love your comments. If there's things that you want us to bring up, we will put them into the next video. Yes. And of course, I thought this slide was really awesome. I thought that was beautiful, Pookie.
Yeah. I thought it just makes such sense to me. You don't have to be an animal to support animal rights. So why would you have to be LGBT to support their rights? You know, that was awesome to me.
And this echoes what we said earlier. You know, one day we don't have to come out of the closet. We're just going to say we're in love, and that will be all that matters, you know? And I will tell you this, you know, Pookie wanted me to share a little bit about my coming out story. To give you the gist of it, I was born gay because if you look at that picture right there, that boy already had duck lips and was ready to pose for the picture. Yes, at one point in my life, I did have hair. I used to have a lot of hair. And I was so tan-ish. I'm like so white now. But yeah, we wanted to share that because we think it's funny. Because the funny thing is I couldn't find the picture. And you know how we found it? On the search bar, typing in duck lips, because that was what Pookie would say. Like, he had duck lips at the gate.
Yeah, he had duck lips. And he was a C-section, so he wanted to go nowhere near a vagina.
I said the other day, I'm like, isn't that something, right? Like, I was a premature baby. So I was premature. But I was like, but I'm not doing none of the work. Like, come get me, because
I ain't going near that. When you came out with duck lips.
But I will tell you, when I went away to college, there was a lot of pressure, honestly, about coming out and about people having to accept you. And at some point, it just kind of happened. With my mom, we were walking through Walmart, and my phone rang, and it was a boy's name. And she said, "Who's that? Your boyfriend?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, okay. I was like, we don't need to talk about this anymore. She's like, nope. I'm like, okay. And that's my mom. So if you have never heard of me talk about my mom, that's my mom 101. My dad said, come to the room. I want to talk to you. And I was terrified and shaking, physically, like fearful. And he literally said, I want to know. And I was like, know what? And he's like, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me. I want to hear it from you. I want you to say it. Just tell me. And I did, and then I thought he was going to become aggressive. I was scared, and he hugged me, and he said, I just want you to tell me, and I love you. And so that was my coming out story. It wasn't a grand festival, but it was different than I ever imagined. I was terrified. And I think
it's such an amazing feeling to know that their love for you is unconditional. Yeah. And it's not a lot of people have that. And it is scary. You know, you don't want to disappoint or upset the people that you love the most. And when you're doing something that you feel and have been taught is not okay, you know, it has to be terrifying.
Yeah. And I think, again, we're going to pin this as well, but I do want to talk more about this next time, about how that feels when you spent years trying to stuff down who you are and what are the effects of that later on. Because I do think it leads to trauma, and it leads to things that are very hard to deal with later on because you've been suffocating just who you are. And so once you're able to be all that you are, everything is very different. And with everything we're talking about, we do take this very seriously. You know, in all of our previous videos, we have talked about shining a light on an organization or foundation or something going on. Yes.
Wait, you skipped over
what?
You skipped over you're coming out to me.
Go on. Reversing my transition. So sorry.
Yeah. So why don't you give that story from your perspective, and then I'll just say from mine really quick.
So I don't have a strong memory of this, because that whole era, like those situations, because the high anxiety zone, it kind of blurs me out. All I remember is me and Pookie used to hang out a lot. My grandma actually would make comments that she was trying to steal my innocence from me. That was
you thought I was trying to like marry him off into the sunset or something. Have him raise my 2 children, my 2 little bastards.
And then all I remember is I was sleeping over your house, and I went and I laid down and we turned the lights off. And I think you literally were like, "So you're gay, right?" And I was like, that's all I remember.
But that's all that happened. And it was so funny because it was like we were talking and laughing or whatever, you know, we were getting ready to go to sleep. And then all of a sudden it's like, I asked you, I'm like, so like, you're gay, right? Like the most normal question ever to me. And you can hear pin drops. Like, I was like, are you alive?
And it was like pitch dark. So I was just like, I didn't know what to do.
Mind you, he hadn't left to college yet. This was in high school still. Like you had just graduated or were gonna graduate high school.
Yeah, it was definitely around that moment.
And so fast forward to now, I'm sorry that I asked you that way, because to me, I've always been a person where I'm like, live and let live. I've taught my kids the same way. I am not racist. I don't have any type of, you know, phobias against anybody, against anything. I don't care what race, gender, sexuality. I don't care. If you're a kind, good person, then I'm going to be that to you too. So for me, it was more of like, you don't have to hide it around me. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't care. I love you no matter what. And me being the blunt person that I am, you know, now looking back, I'm like, poor kid. He was probably like so petrified. I don't think anybody had ever asked you that way.
No.
Or at all?
No. Very few people knew, like officially knew. And it, no, it was just you. But, you know, no apology needed. It's just that's the way our life's always been. We've always been able to ask each other anything, and that wasn't going to be different.
I don't know. I was like, dude, you're okay. Yeah.
That season of my life it's so different, such a different world. It's been a long time. It's been almost 20 years since that era. Life is a completely different life right now. And yeah.
Cool. Okay, now we can shine a light. Sorry, I just.
So we're always talking about shining a light on something. Just like last month, we shined a light on mental health and whatnot. We don't want to disregard the importance of organizations like the TREVOR Project, which are focused on saving young LGBTQ lives. The TREVOR Project is an American nonprofit organization founded in 1998. Its focus is on suicide prevention efforts among lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and questioning youth through a toll-free number. It operates the TREVOR Lifeline, a confidential service that offers trained counselors. So all the phone numbers are there, and they will be posted in the bio as well. I did want to share some statistics that they came that popped up under their website, which I thought were very just powerful. More than half of transgender and non-binary youth seriously considered suicide in the past year. 46% of youth report they want mental health care, but they were unable to receive it in the past year. 40% of LGBTQ young people seriously considered suicide in the past year. Okay. And then there's a whole bunch more here. More than 80% of youth say that celebrities who are LGBTQ positively impact how they feel about being LGBTQ. 1 in 3 LGBTQ youth reported that they have been physically threatened or harmed in their lifetime due to their LGBTQ identity. Trans and non-binary youth who reported having their pronouns respected by all or most of the people in their lives attempted suicide half of the rate of those whose pronouns were not respected. That's a huge thing to share there. And research shows having at least one accepting adult can decrease LGBTQ youth's risk of suicide by 40%. I know this is a lot of stats, but I thought these were all very important. Only 1 in 3 LGBTQ youth found their home to be affirming. 50% of the youth who are enrolled in middle school or high school reported being bullied either in person or electronically in the past year. And 80% of LGBTQ youth stated that COVID made their living situation more stressful.
Well, them and everybody else.
Yeah, but I think
that was hard on everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes to a point of where their homes, because so many homes are not.
Yeah.
They were able to be more free at school, and now they got rid of that. And so, yeah, so I thought Trevor Project's a really great organization. So if anybody's interested in more information about how you can support it, or if you need the resources, if you're watching this video, feel free to check on the bio. All the notes will be there.
Yes, the link will be there. All right. So we have gotten to our last few minutes of the show. So this is where we are going to hype it up.
Wind it up.
No. So we're going to, I think you're one bar ahead. That's okay. I'll give you're not feeling well, you're sick.
What I do?
Tired. Yeah, we're in the game. We're gonna play the damn thing.
Oh, I thought we were ending with the game. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah. Let's play the damn thing. All right, guys, let's do this. So because I am so bad at open-ended questions, we are no longer doing that because we cannot be here all night. And we have a game that is not open-ended. It's esto o aquello, which is this or that.
Esto o aquello.
Esto o aquello. Go ahead, start.
All right. You are going on a vacation. Do you want island or mountain lodge?
Island.
I want nature. I want nature. I want to go to the
mountain.
You
want nature now because you're dying to go on a nature trip for some reason.
Because I want nature. I'm so island. I've lived in Miami my whole life. I don't want a beach.
I know. After 2 or 3 horas in a mountain, I'm like, that's it. There's nothing else. Okay.
You want me to go through my 5?
Yes.
Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom?
Magic Kingdom.
Magic Kingdom. Absolutely. I mean, I love them all, but Magic Kingdom for sure. Iced coffee or hot coffee?
Iced in the afternoon and hot in the morning. Unless it's summer and then I like it iced.
You still can't pick one. You have 2 options. You still can't pick one. One.
Why?
Because that's the game. It's esto o aquello.
Bueno, pero esto por la mañana y aquello por la tarde.
No.
I don't understand what the problem is.
Pick one. You can only pick one.
Iced.
I pick hot. Always hot, even in the summer.
I don't like coffee. Yeah, right.
You're fired. Okay, my next question is sunset or sunrise?
Ooh, sunset.
Sunrise.
I can't get up that early for the sunrise.
It's not that I don't like it, es que soy una vaga.
Es que no me puedo levantar. Y con el café que no puedo tomarme because no te da la gana, let me have both.
No, you can't have both. That's not the game.
All right.
All right, my final question is, would you prefer to have a head the size of a watermelon or a head the size of a tennis ball?
I already have a head the size of a tennis ball. I have like a little head syndrome.
That's not the answer.
A small head. I don't want a watermelon head. Are you going to say the answer?
I thought it was funny. Yeah, I would go with tennis ball also. I would just wear a really big hat to compensate.
You're so all right. Oh my God, she's so like Megamind. Okay, so my questions: sunshine or rain?
Sunshine.
Sunshine all day. I think it's because we're like Florida babies. Like I get depressed if it's raining too much. Miami has been like we're flooding everywhere in Miami. It's awful.
No.
Okay. So ocean or a pool?
Pool. I hate sand. Like I love the ocean, but pool.
You're so aggressive about that.
Oh, it's so annoying.
So I will say this. No, you're not gonna. So it used to be pools when I was younger. And now I feel like the ocean, like just that little area where you sit right when the waves are hitting you, like I can sit there in a little chair and just stay there all day.
I'm with Patty.
Anna said ocean.
You know what the difference is also? You know what the difference is also? That in Orlando, you have to drive over an hour to the beach. So it's very different driving.
Next.
Listen.
No.
When you drive back Sandy, it's so different than like when in Miami, you're right there. It's totally different.
Ay, cállate. Okay. Tacos or burgers?
Oh, tacos.
Oh, tacos.
I love both, but tacos.
No. Tacos all day long. Let me tell you.
I can eat Mexican food every day.
Every day. If I never have to eat a burger again, I'd be fine.
Have you ever had a tinga taco?
A who?
Tinga.
A tinga? Yeah. I've had them.
I love tinga.
You like anything that ends with inga. Okay, so sweet or salty?
What?
Sweet or salty?
Sweet, always.
Okay, yeah, sweet too. Yay! Okay, my last one. I'm not gonna do that to you today. Maybe next time. Tequila or vodka?
Tequila. Patron.
Tequila. Es que soy mexicana, manito. Tequila con tacos.
Buenísimo. This sounds great to me.
I love it. I love all the answers. Sammy, you would be salty.
Yeah. I don't like brown tequila, though. I like clear tequila.
I love tequila. I like margaritas.
I like tacos and burritos.
And Mexican pizzas.
And Mexican pizzas. That was a funny comment, Patty. Neither. I want a Mexican pizza.
Okay. So now you can do ending on a happy note.
Oh my God, I'm so out of order.
No, estás de pipi hoy. Y eso que I'm the one that drank. So we hear this all the time. Life isn't a race. Find joy in the journey. And everybody's like, yeah, but this shit's hard and I'm stressed out and everything's taking longer than what I want to. And this is a friendly reminder to give yourself grace and give yourself credit. There's no finish line to where we're meant to be in life. We're always changing, growing, evolving. Your goals today are not going to be your goals tomorrow. And when you accomplish the goals that you have today, you're going to have a new one tomorrow, or you may change your mind. So we have to change the way that we think about that end goal, because our whole entire life is working towards what our happiness is. And it may be happy momentarily, and it may be, happy as we're going through it, which is something that I believe we said last week. Like, just find the joy in your daily life and give yourself grace. Everybody's working hard.
I love it. And I absolutely agree. And if we only focus on, not the journey, then we lose so much joy along the way. And there's so many gifts along the way. So I agree.
I always tell my kids this, and I'm going to say it to everyone, that's watching.
Are you swimming?
It doesn't matter if you're moving side to side, if you're moving, in a zigzag, if you're moving forward in a straight line, as long as you're moving and it's not backwards, you're moving. You're moving and you're evolving and you're growing and you're learning, and that is okay. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Just because some people are capable of like doing something and being like a straight arrow with it, and your route looks a little differently, doesn't make yours any less valid and any less important than theirs. So everyone's journey is different.
Yeah, and Tony Robbins always says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So regardless of which way you're moving, as long as you're still in motion, that's absolutely right.
Yes, just move whichever way. And it doesn't matter if you change your mind and decide, I don't really want to do that anymore. Now I want to do something else. It doesn't matter. Who's to say that we can't change our mind? There's such a big stigma with that. It's like you're 19 and you're supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. I don't agree with that. That's a whole other story for a whole other day. But I'm just saying, guys, like, just do you, give yourself grace, have patience with yourself, and love the person that you're becoming every day through your experiences.
I love it. Well, guys, this is the wrap up on our show.
I don't want to clap. I'm sad. I'm like, no. You and your retarded heart. You can't even do it.
This is an arm heart.
Let me see. Do your heart like this?
No, it doesn't look like a
heart. Do it like this. You have stupid fingers. No, but you just do one.
Dude, what do you mean?
Because you do it with your whole thing like
but
this.
Look at this. It looks like a turkey butt. Like,
you look like a turkey butt.
All right, guys. So we appreciate you guys so much for joining us as always. As always, we want to let you guys know or remind you guys, go out, find your tribe, find your people. Life is better when we do it together. Thanks again for tuning in and spending time with people like us. And remember, our special edition show this week will be moved to this coming Thursday. Bye.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you.